So I'm glad we could all make it to the new year. New year, new beginnings. Speaking of beginnings, I want us to take a look at error handling today because we don't want any errors this year. So let's take a look at errors. Let's waste no time and just get to it. Let me zoom in here. That's too much. Okay. So let's say we have a function. I can't see my keyboard. So we have a function named divide. Oof, my keyboard. I'm sorry, let me just rearrange. Okay, so we have a function. It's named divide. Right? And this function, it's going to take in two parameters. So it's a and b. And within this function, we want, because when we divide, you cannot divide by 0. So we want to have an if statement here, and then we want to say if b is equals to 0, then we want it to throw an error. Okay, so when I have throw, I'm going to throw a new error. Okay. And this new error is gonna have a message that's gonna say cannot divide by 0. Okay, great stuff. And we want it to return the usual, which is a divided by b. So far, so good. Now, we want to have a function. This function is going to test our divide function. So, we're going to have a try statement here. So, what this try is going to do is everything we put inside this try. Okay, everything we're going to put here, it's going to run, but should there be an error, the error will then be caught by the catch. So it's try, catch, and finally. Okay, so it's try, catch, and finally. So the try is going to try out every code. If the code has an error, it's going to send it to the catch, and the catch is where it's going to throw an error. And then after throwing the error, we're going to go to the finally. So finally is going to execute each and every code, whether it's wrong or right, it's going to run because it's finally. Okay, so let me stop talking too much and just do. So when I have console.log, so here when I have, let's say it's test 1. Okay, so here we want to divide, let's say divide 10 by 2. Yeah, I think. Okay, so we want to divide 10 by 2 and also console.log. So this is the result. Okay, so we're gonna have result. Okay, yeah, this is fine. So with the result, remember we used a function. The function was named divide. So we wanna say divide, and then we wanna throw in some, because we had 2 parameters. So we're gonna say 2. And also, okay, 10 divided by 2. Okay, so this should run divide. So this should run. It should have no errors because 10 divided by 2 should print out 5. Okay, so this is fine. Now, let me just copy and paste. Okay, so this is test 2. and test 2, we want to divide this by 0. So this is where our error should kick in. Okay, so I want to have another one again. Just to show you guys what happens when we get an error. Not 96. Okay, just to show you guys what happens. Let's say we divide it by 3. Okay, and here divided by 3. Okay, so you will see that once our code reaches this part within the try function, it will not execute. It will stop right here. So our test 3 will not execute. You will see in a moment what I'm talking about. Okay, so let's continue. We're going to have a catch. Okay, so this is where we're going to catch our error. All right, and let's log it out. So we're going to have console.error. So we're logging out the error, and our error occurred. Okay, so we have an error now. I must fix my settings for this because yeah, it's bad. Okay, so error occurred here. Okay, and then let's just print it out here. Error dot, we want to print, let's print out a message. Okay, perfect. And now we want to have that finally. Remember I was telling you about the finally. So this part is going to run either ways. Okay, so console.log. So this part is going to run either ways. So our test is completed. So this is going to execute whether we want it or not. All right, so let's try as a test divide. Let's run this function and see. Okay, so we get our first test. Okay, so it's 10 divided by 2, which is 5. And our second test, 10 divided by 0. And look what we get. We get this error. Cannot divide by 0. And automatically we jump to test completed. So as you can see, we did not go to test 3. And yeah, you have to fix that error first before you can move on. And test completed ran because, I mean, finally just whatever it is, it'll work. Even if we console.log our test 3 here, it was still going to get an error, but it was going to run theoretically. And that's it for the test error handling. Okay, so yeah, catch me in the next video.